Hi and welcome to Rebecca's Finance Tutorials. I'm Rebecca and it's lovely to meet you, so whether that's for the first time or you're coming back again, welcome. Now this is video 2 of our Principles of Bookkeeping Controls series, and today we're getting properly into the content. So if you haven't watched video 1, that's just sort of the overview to get you orientated. So go back and watch that first, but let's crack on with the teaching. So starting with control accounts, because this is the anchor of the entire unit. Now, a control account is a summary account that mirrors, in total, everything that's happening across a whole set of individual accounts. So the receivables ledger control account summarises every single customer balance in one place. The payables ledger control account does the same, but for suppliers. And the VAT control account brings together VAT on sales and VAT on purchases to show what's owed to or reclaimable back from HMRC. So you basically build a control account the same way that you'd build any account. So we have opening balances plus the items that increase it. So for example, sales on credit for receivables would increase the balance. Purchases on credit for payables would increase the balance, minus the things that would reduce them. So receipts from customers reduces the total amount owed. Payments to suppliers, again, reduces the total amount that we owe. So plus or minus any adjustments like discounts or returns or irrecoverable debt, which just means debt that we're not going to get back. So if we've made a sale and we know that that person's not going to pay it, or that company, then that's irrecoverable debt. But there's certain criteria that makes it irrecoverable debt. But what's left is your closing balance. So if we move on to reconciling that control account, the whole point of the control account is that its closing balance should match the total of every individual customer or supplier balance added together. So let's just say that your receivables control account shows a closing balance of £10,000, but when you add up every individual customer balance on the list, it only comes to £9,800. So that difference of £200 is telling you something specifically has gone wrong. So maybe a payment from one customer was recorded in the control account but never updated on their individual account, or maybe a balance was simply missed off the list entirely and added up incorrectly. So your job is to identify exactly which of these has happened and adjust the right side to bring back the figure to the right amount. So if you look at bank reconciliations, they just basically work on the same underlying principle. So we compare what we've got in the cash book to the bank statement, and we explain any differences, because sometimes we have differences for a reason. So you're not always going to have just matching cash book, matching bank statement. So two big causes that come up all the time are unpresented cheques. So payments that you've written and recorded in your cash book, but the recipient hasn't paid them into the bank account yet. So they haven't hit your bank statement. You also have outstanding lodgements. So it's money that you've received and recorded and paid into the bank, but it's not cleared the bank or appeared on the statement yet. So we also have that in the reverse direction. So things on the bank statement that you've not recorded yet, and that could be bank charges that you don't know what they're going to be until you get that bank statement, interest or a direct debit that you've forgotten about, and those needed to be added into your cash book before you can call it reconciled. So say that your cash book shows a balance of £2,000, but the bank statement shows £1,850. If there is an unpresented cheque for £200 and a bank charge of £50 you haven't recorded yet, you'd first update your cash book for that bank charge, bringing it down to £1,950, and then you'd reconcile that against the bank statement figure of £1,850 plus the £200 unpresented cheque. So that also gives £1,950. So in that circumstance, both sides land on the same number, and that is a reconciled position. Now, just a quick mention, as always, before we move on. My Pody community is completely free to join. The link is in the description section below, and it's where you can ask me questions directly and grab free resources that I've built for this unit. So it's something that I wish I had had when I was first starting out. Now there's over 400 of you on there already, so please do come and join us. So let's get back to it. Errors. And this is where the unit gets genuinely interesting, because not every error behaves the same way. Some errors mean that your trial balance simply won't balance. So they could be a single entry, so only a debit or only a credit that's been recorded. You could have unequal amounts on each side, or an addition mistake in one of the ledger accounts. So they're really easy to spot because the trial balance itself says, I don't balance and something's wrong here. But a whole group of errors could actually leave the trial balance perfectly balanced, even though it's wrong. And you need to know these by name. So an error of omission is a transaction left out completely on both sides, so you'd never know that it wasn't there or that there was an error. An error of commission is posted to the wrong account, but it's the right type. So let's just say one customer's account instead of another. An error of principal, which is posted to the wrong type of account entirely. So it's like where we've treated a capital item as an expense, so maybe a capital purchase of a fixed asset, and we've put that as an expense in the income statement instead. An error of original entry, so the wrong figure was used but on both sides equally, so it's not going to show. A compensating error, so two separate mistakes that just so happen to cancel each other out. And then a reversal of entries, where you've got the right accounts and the right figure, but you've put the debit and credit the wrong way around. That tends to happen more often than not in the real world, to be honest. Now, when you can't immediately identify what's gone wrong and the TB doesn't balance, you open a suspense account and you post the difference there temporarily. So just so the TB balances on paper while you investigate. So let's just say that your trial balance is out by £50 and debits are higher than credits. So you'd post £50 as a credit to the suspense account to force it back to balance. So just purely as a holding position. That is all suspense accounts are. So once you've found the real error, so say a purchase invoice was recorded as £45 instead of £95, you journal the missing £50 out of the suspense account and into the correct purchase account, and the suspense account would clear back to zero. So we always, by the time that we've finished with the TB, we want that a suspense account to be zero. Now, every single correction like this goes through the journal. So a full debit and a credit. And there's almost something to note here that you'll find in practice. So if you get a job in bookkeeping and accounting, is that you always put the debit first, then the credit. So it's sometimes, if you're reviewing someone else's journals and they've not been told that's what they need to do, sometimes it's almost, you look at it and go, yeah, this doesn't seem right. So always debit, then credit. So get into the habit of writing out which account is debited and which is credited before you touch any numbers, because that's where the marks are genuinely won or lost. So it's not usually in the arithmetic itself. And finally, extracting and redrafting a trial balance pulls all of this together. So listing every ledger balance as either a debit or a credit and confirming the two columns match. So if they don't, that's your signal to go look for one of the errors that we've just covered. So starting with the ones that actually cause an imbalance, since those are really easy to trace. So that is the full core of Principles of Bookkeeping Controls. So it's control accounts, reconciling them, bank reconciliation, the different types of errors, suspense accounts, journals, and the TB. So just notice the theme running through every single part of this. One figure is always being used to check another. So that's genuinely what control is. So in video 3, I'm going to be answering your questions from the community on this exact content. So if any of this needs a second look, stick with the series because we're coming at it from a different angle next. So thank you for joining me, and I will catch you on the next one.